Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be breaking down UFC 314. Alexander Volkanovski, hi, Dan, versus Diego Lopez. So, what are my thoughts? Initial thoughts. Volk's coming off of two back-to-back devastating losses. The kid's getting up there in age too. He's, I think, damn near 37. And yeah, it's just, I don't see him recovering. I get he's taking time off, but at the same time, Diego Lopez, he's hungry. Momentum's a very real thing in this sport. I think Volkanovski, he's very good. He's very, very, very good. Not taking anything away from him, no doubt. But, I just think that the wear and tear, the miles, I think Volkanovski, he is going to be probably taking a more wrestling approach initially, for sure. But I think Diego's no slouch there. I think he knows what he's doing. I think Diego's coming in, hot and ready to go. Fucking gonna back Volkanovski up, use his striking. I see Volkanovski, round one probably doing his little fucking lead kicks, which I can't stand because it just gets you in the, it gets you close to being. I don't know. They just don't do any damage. I get it's for points and whatever, but like Diego can easily come over the top. I don't know. If I'm Diego Lopez, I'm just bum rushing him, honestly. Like, fuck it. No technique, no nothing. Just back him up and Volk's to be, hi, Dan, hi, trying to do my thing here, hi. And then Diego's gonna be like, take him out and fucking Volk's be, Dan, hey, Dan. Volk, once you lose this fight, and I love Volk, he's a good guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, just, you made your money. Go spend time with your 16 daughters, bro. Like, you don't need to get any more damage, Like, you want to live the rest of your life, healthy, good, especially those fucking hell, CT from looking at Diego Lopez's haircut. Those two back-to-back losses, especially this one's a knockout, it's not looking good. And I don't think you have anything more to prove. I think, Topuria, yes, he came in and did his thing in 145, but and that's the thing. Even if Volk wins, Topuria is still like that looming shadow over top. They're going to be like, well, yeah, you're the champion, but, you got knocked out. Especially like your last two fights, Topuria most recently. And even though Topuria doesn't want to make the weight anymore, I think everyone looks at him as the legitimate champion. I think, you put Topuria versus Lopez, I think Topuria gets him out of there. I think Topuria is the truth. I just don't think, anyone in 145 or lower, touches him. I think 55, Makhachev's going to be a real test. That's I had a dream about that. Like I just Topuria can win, but it'd be really, really, really difficult. I think Makhachev, especially with previous experience dealing with shorter opponents, especially Volkanovski, I think he's got his work cut out for him. But that being said, I think Diego Lopez just tunes him up and gets him out of there in round two. Next, hard work bootstraps Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Fuck. I get Chandler's got the power and he's got all that, but the kid's got no IQ. I mean, no fight IQ, And it's just, everyone's like, yeah, but he's really explosive. He's really explosive in round number one. Sure, but, anyone who knows what they're doing is, capable of getting away from that. Like, who was he taking out in the round one, Hooker and Ferguson, or no, Ferguson later on, but still. I just think Paddy's smart enough to game plan properly. I think if I'm Paddy, I'm not throwing a single strike until round two is over, maybe the end of round two. Like, just don't give a shit about the crowd, hold him down, get all that lactic acid up in his muscles so he can't pull himself up from his bootstraps and do some stupid motivational shit. And, Paddy fucking gets in there with a sub. Easy, lad. Because I get Oliveira didn't, his last fight, but Poirier subbed him. And, Poirier on the ground. What are we doing here? He's got slapped around by each title shot. Anyone who knows what they're doing on the ground, got him in a chokehold and put him away. So I think if Poirier can do it, I think Paddy can. I'm rooting for Paddy because I just don't like Michael Chandler. Like, it's all this nice guy shit. The fuck are you hiding from us? We're going to go deep in that closet, as our Kelly said. And, probably find a few demons in there. I think for the good of the world, I think Paddy wins. Pasha. Because, I don't want to hear Chandler, let's say he gets a title shot because for some reason Dana loves him. I don't know why. Goes to fight Makhachev, and it's just like the press conference would be dead as hell. Paddy, I don't think he'd beat Makhachev, but at least we get an entertaining, build up. And the UFC, it's like a fucking wasteland for excitement right now. Pereira just lost. The guy can't even speak English. Like, fuck, like, can't cut a promo. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he only relies on his fighting. Got easily, I don't know if he had his injury in his hand or whatever, but Magomed, I don't think that rematch goes any different. I don't give two fucks to watch that rematch, to be honest. Let's go for that. Get fucking Yuri. Get Jarrett in there. They'll be talking, they'll be yapping. Okay. I want excitement. I'm so over the whole dead Apex cards, dead Fight Night cards, dead, press conferences. Like, let's get some excitement. Let's get some personal shit. Like, especially fucking Diego Lopez and Volkanovski. They're at the damn what was it? Some arena for some Balthring bullshit, and they're two coming out holding each other's arms. Like, you fighting or you announcing a fucking baby? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, zero build up. Like, I'm sick of Volk. Like I said, good guy, whatever. But no, get Diego in there because he's gonna get, especially with Movsar, he's been yapping back and forth. So I think we're gonna get something going there. But I think back to fucking ADHD. Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett. I think if Paddy's smart, he wrestles him, and I think he gets a sub in round 3, 4. I don't think it's gonna go to decision because I think Chandler. I think even if he does get going, I think Paddy's gonna take him to the ground. Even if he cracks Paddy, I don't think Paddy's chinny. I think Paddy's tough. Like he knows what he's doing. And I got Paddy in that one. And all right, next we got Brad Mitchell versus Jane Silva. Good versus evil. The people's main event. I got Gene Silva. I get it's all the memes and shit about Bryce and all that, and it'd be hilarious if he won. But I think he's got like pretend striking. Like who's he knocking down with his striking? Who's sure, whatever, on the back in his career, whatever, I don't care. Who's he doing anything to with his striking now? Nobody. Same thing with Aljamain. Like, I think there's a lot of these fighters in the UFC who have like pretend striking just to get themselves to the ground. I don't trust that, and especially with the Josh Emmett KO, like fucking hell, man. I don't want to see that again. But I think that's what's going to happen. I think Gene Silva, like, he comes from Brazil, the fighting nerds. They know what Bryce is going to do. He's going to try to grapple. Jiu-jitsu is, really, really, really good in Brazil. I think he's going to clean up on his technique. I know he got taken down a few times, but I think is going to win. I think, Brad Mitchell's going to be shooting, try to shoot him. And then, Gene's going to stand up and just probably like a little, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Anyways, next, I got, what do we got? We got Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. I mean, we've seen what Chandler did. I know they're not the same person, but I don't know. The UFC jitters are a really, really, really real thing, And I just think the guy's old too. What do we got here? How old is he? Fuck, no info. Damn. I think he's like 38 or whatever. I did not like what I seen from Yair on the ground recently with Ortega because he just kind of like gave up and crumpled up like a little frail ball. Not impressed whatsoever. But, I think Yair is probably going to be working on that. I don't think Pitbull, especially Yair fought Volk, he fought like the who's who in the division. I just don't think Patricio brings anything different to the table. I don't think he brings anything new. I think, yes, it could get dicey on the ground, as Shah would say, but no, I think Yair's going to TKO him standing in round 2.5. Halfway into round 2. I think they're just going to be striking. I think there's going to be, the Patricio's going to be holding him against the cage, but I think Yair's going to figure himself, how to get out of there and, get out in the open and fucking flying axe kick or some shit. All right, next. Nikita Krylov versus Dominic Reyes. I remember watching Dominic Reyes in an interview, and I don't know, he just... Something about those last few fights, like, I don't know if it look in his face or his eyes or something, but there's something off there, and I don't know. He's definitely not a world beater by any means, but, he went tooth and nail with Jones, and I know people can say what they want about Jones, I hear all the criticism, but, I think he was one of the closest, aside from, like, Gustafsson and DC or whatever, in recent memory. And I think, Dominic Reyes... I think it's the same thing with Ferguson where you come so close and then it's just like, you do your thing and then for some reason it just goes all downhill. You get to that top spot and then, it just comes all crashing down. He got KO'd. I get he beat Anthony Smith, but fuck, I could beat Anthony Smith. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. I think Nikita Krylov's I don't think he's going to get him out of there, but because I think Dominic Reyes is going to play it more hesitant as he's been recently. But I don't see any problem for Nikita Krylov. All right, and yeah, I don't really see any intriguing matchups. I mean, there are, but Danny Gay versus Sean Woodson, I don't really care. Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. I think Chase Hooper's gonna win just because I think Jim, retire, bro. Like, fucking hell, spend time with your family. You don't need this anymore. Like, I hated watching you get battered by Bobby Green. Like, this is a young man's sport. If you need the money, like, ask around the UFC. I'm sure they can help you out. And that's about it. All right, thank you for watching. Until next time, see you later.